Hey y'all, how you doing? It's me, Sean. Welcome back to the Direct Action Gaming channel, and more specifically, welcome back to my studio apartment, my tiny studio apartment. Yes, it's this war of mine once again, and to be specific, it is the Blood in the Snow scenario from the Tales from the Ruined City expansion. One of two expansions which I own. I've already gone through all the modules, which are neat little rules packets, extra rules packets that you can sort of add to the game. We have not added any modules to this game. I read through the rules more or less for this scenario and just in the rules book for the expansion, Tales from the Ruined City. It recommends if you're trying a scenario, especially for the first time, you want to well do it on the basic side of the board. If you've never played this game before, there are actually two sides to the board, which is kind of neat. You can have a sort of basic board, or you can have an advanced board, which is a little bit more difficult than the basic board. I tried that once in the last episode when we were messing around with some of these other modules that I mentioned. Anyway, basic and no modules, just do the scenario. That's what was recommended, so we're going to try to do that. We're just going to do Blood in the Snow, and things already get changed a little bit by the scenario as is. So, for example, up in the cold space over there, we are starting with 4 cold tokens. We're starting with that. We also have the harsh winter event sort of by default on the findings pile. So, yeah, it's called Blood in the Snow. And the idea is we aren't just in Grasnavia. We are in Grasnavia during a very, very harsh winter period. So a blizzard is one component of this little story here. So let's get started by reading some of the flavor text on the little scenario sheet. Let's see. Blood in the Snow. What you see before you is almost beautiful. The world is covered in snow, and there is only one exception. The red pool of frozen blood beneath your feet. As you look closer, you notice something glittering like diamonds in the snow. A knife? The blizzards of the last few days are something Polgarin has not seen for ages. The streets are empty. The fighting has calmed down. The city is even more of a dead shell than it has been lately. Everything is covered by a thick layer of snow, and it's still snowing. The visibility is often no more than a few meters. Even the snipers from across the river have left their stations. Instead of bullets now, it's the chill in the air cutting us down. Yesterday, though, something terrible happened. Luka, one of the 4 of us, was found behind our shelter, covered in blood. He had gone out to look for pieces of wood and found death instead. Almost. He's alive, but barely so. Still has not woken up. There was a bloodied knife next to him. Our knife. Is one of us guilty? For so long, we've lived in extreme conditions, but as mutual trust is beginning to dissipate, substituted by suspicions, it's becoming harder and harder to push through yet another day. We need to care for Luka and discover who tried to murder him, even if it was one of us. Maybe one of the neighbors saw something? Maybe they know something we do not. Luka might wake up and point to his attacker. We're watching others' behavior, overanalyzing each word, fish for hints and traces of evidence. Tonight, somebody has brought back a long rope in case we manage to find the attacker. When the time comes, when we are sure we will need to capture and subdue the would-be murderer. Okay, so there's that. So, as I was saying, we've got the basic side of the map here. Besides Harsh Winter and the cold tokens, we also it's a scenario. I played a couple of scenarios from the core box before, and they tend to get rid of the chapters. There's no campaign, so scenarios should be a lot shorter, but they are definitely much more difficult usually. And the shortness is part of that difficulty, I guess. You have less time to get together the things that you need to survive. So we are going to have 3 standard events on top of the ending events deck, meaning we may have only 4 days, perhaps, to solve this mystery. We also only have 1 objective. There is no final objective. There was the scenario card says you sort of grab 1 random objective. So our objective is spare parts for smugglers. So one thing we definitely have to do is complete this objective. It states we definitely will lose if we don't complete this objective before the game ends. In addition to that objective, though, we also have scenario objectives. And there are 3 of those. And one of them is sort of the standard final objective, really. They put that on top there. I guess that's why we don't need that card. It's just on the scenario sheet that at least 1 character from the starting group must survive until the end of the game. And they must be okay. Their various states other than fatigue must be 2 or less. So there's that. The other 2 special objectives are Wounded Luka must survive until the end of the game. And also, number 3 is find out who the murderer is. Any of 4 suspicion tokens must reach level 4. Okay, so let's bring the camera over here so y'all can see this sheet. So this is what we're going to be working with for this game here. So on this side of the board, we're going to set this up over here. We have our cast of characters is Marco the firefighter, Pavel the soccer player, and Bruno, everybody's favorite angry TV chef. So the man who can produce vegetables magically out of nowhere. Now everybody starts with a misery of 2. So we don't start with hunger 2 like usual. We also have a blizzard token. So the blizzard is a thing. We also have suspicion tokens that we place. So there's like a suspicion track for each of our starting characters. There's an additional suspicion track for the neighbors. So it says that your 3 starting characters have to be sort of placed like so. They all start with misery 2. They all have a little suspicion track. Even if one of them dies, you kind of just flip their card over and put the model there because they might still be suspect. So, yeah, you want to complete an objective. You want somebody to survive. You want Luka to also survive, and you also want to discover who killed Luka. So there's that. That's Blood in the Snow in a nutshell. Now there are some additional rules going on here with this game, with Blood in the Snow. So as I was saying, winter is very well, as the text also described, winter is very much a factor here. Cold is going to be a serious issue. That's probably why they allow you to start with a simple heater, and they give you one additional fitting that you can also start with. It could even be an advanced fitting. They also say even if you're playing on the basic side of the map, you don't have to do the ideas thing. You can just have all of the fittings already unlocked, which makes sense because you only have like a few days anyway. So there is that. I decided to choose the efficient heater as an upgrade to the simple heater because why the heck not? Initially, I thought it might be good to start with the simple heater and the workshop, but I don't know. As I started to think about it more, here's the thing: you get to start with 2 water, a knife. There's there's a zip tie token in the storage. It is worth nothing. It's just a token. Its value is 0. It can never be stolen, so it's always going to be there. It's a component in this story where we're going to have to use it to tie up the suspect. So there's going to be that. We also start with 10 wood and 10 components over there, but we also start with 20 of whatever. So I got to choose which sort of additional tokens I wanted to start with beyond what the scenario names specifically for you to start with. Anyway, my reasoning was, all right, we don't have an awful lot of time. I could, in theory, try to start with some food, because they don't give you any food to start with, just 2 water. So, as you may have seen, as I was pointing the camera over there, we still don't have, I did not get any food. I figured if we only get 20 points, that would really only give me like 3 vegetables for all 3 of our characters, which would allow us to eat in the dusk phase, and our hunger would not go down. So that's nice. But our hunger already also starts at 0. And plus I noticed they do not start you with a shovel, which is kind of a problem. So I thought, okay, if all I have is 20, how about I definitely get a shovel? And then I just sort of went from there. Like, all right, how about I get a shovel? How about I get a lockpick? Hey, how about I get a saw blade too? And while I'm at it, how about I get precisely 1 mechanical part? And then since I have 2 points left over, let's get a couple cigarettes, because Bruno does have a smoking habit. So the only green tokens we have to start with are a couple of cigarettes, and you cannot eat those. But we do have a shovel, a saw blade, and a lockpick, which kind of means we should be able to access basically any part of the shelter right from the get-go. We have a shovel to start digging rubble. We have a saw blade to cut through these bars. Once we use that saw blade there, we can probably trade it for something else. We can also use this lockpick to open at least one of these closed doors here. So there is that. We have 3 closed doors in total we want to open up. Yeah. So that was my reasoning. We want to open up the paths to as quickly as possible to get to all the goodies in this shelter, so we can start piling up some things to make some stuff here. Anyway, when it comes to the blizzard and the suspicion tracks, that is a whole other ball of yarn right there. There's also this wounded Luka card. Wounded Luka. There's a condition token that you need to put on that. Luka starts as heavily wounded, can go down to critical condition, and then will be dead. So, yeah, we want to try to keep Luka alive. And that brings me to another special thing. If somebody goes outside during the outside action, no matter what happens when we go outside, another thing that occurs is we can, at any time, trade stuff in the shelter for bandages. We can just buy bandages. We don't have to. It doesn't have to be the trader that shows up. We don't have to go scavenging to find them. We don't have to go trading in a specific place. Like the old town is a place we can go to do some trading right off the bat. We can always get bandages, but we will have to trade for them. So we will need something that is worth 10, and the trade commission is going to be 2. Unfortunately, we do not have Katya, so we are not going to be able to just ignore the trade conditions. So we're going to need 12 to get some bandages. Ideally, we're going to want to have bandages, a fresh roll of bandages every single turn to try and keep Luka alive. So that's a condition there. Like, there's a special card that you also put on the dawn phase where you're sort of like checking on Luka at the end of every day, but before you do anything else. You need to check on Luka's condition to see how Luka is doing. And there are specific scripts for the scenario that we are going to read depending upon certain conditions that we reach. With regards to suspicion and or Luka's condition and blah, 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 blah. So suspicion. When it comes to suspicion, there is a suspicion chart, and we roll the die of fate to get a particular result on that chart. Now, what's interesting here is a lot of things will raise your misery when you do them. So, for example, we have these this zip tie here that we can just sort of use to tie up one of the characters if we suspect them. And we can also take the zip tie off of that character, but it will raise that character's misery by 1 because, well, they just got tied up. They got, accused of being the murderer. So there's that. The primary way we investigate, apparently, is by having a difficult conversation. So that is aside from buying bandages, there's another special action that we can do called difficult conversation. That is going to raise the misery of a character by 1. But when a character does that action, we get to roll on the suspicion chart twice. And basically, that's going to allow us to raise the suspicion. We're going to move the suspicion tokens, twice, more than likely. Depending upon the results that you get, you would be moving it for one of your 3 starting characters, or for the neighbors, or on a high roll, you get to choose who you increase the suspicion for, which is probably something you want later on so you can then raise the highest suspicion, because you want to solve this mystery, right? It doesn't matter who it is. You want to discover who the murderer is, right? So that's suspicion. We have to raise the suspicion level of somebody to 4. When it comes to the blizzard, though, the blizzard track is something we're also going to be keeping track of. It starts at 3 and it can go all the way up to 8, and apparently it's tied somewhat to the cold outside, of course. So and that confused me at least a little bit at first, because the maximum amount of cold tokens you can have in the cold space is 6. However, it also explains that, like, if there might be additional things such as harsh winter that will increase that result. So it's saying in the morning phase, you're going to set the blizzard track to whatever you have to add to the cold space from the event that you just drew, I should say, in addition to whatever is on a semi-permanent thing such as harsh winter, and or a token of some kind that will also increase the cold. So yes, you could potentially have the blizzard up to 8, and that's important because apparently, as the flavor text described, the snow is so harsh that the streets are basically empty. The blizzard does do that. You basically get the sort of cover of snow when you're going places and you're doing things. So somebody goes outside, depending upon what the blizzard level is at, before you even roll for like the sniper result and or your character is going to get shot on a result of 1, you would have to roll roll for the blizzard. So if it's equal to or less than the blizzard level, then just nothing happens. So that applies to potentially getting shot outside, or drawing residence cards, or also drawing night raids. So when the blizzard is really bad, it's possible that just night raids do not happen. You do not trigger residence when you're scavenging, and you also don't get shot when you wander outside. So that's cool. But if it's, as I have discovered the hard way many times, if it's really, really cold out, people also start getting sick. So the blizzard will sort of protect us from enemies, but it's also going to make us sick. And things are already pretty cold. Anyway, so that's the deal, more or less. And we also, for once, we start the game with 3 characters that have 3 actions each, which is pretty cool. That is a very rare thing. Just always seems to be only 2 things you can do at the most with each character. Anyway, without further ado, the first thing that we need to do is the morning phase, which of course means we're going to need to draw our first event, which is relatively peaceful. Okay, so it says add 4. All right, so we now have maximum cold. There's already 4. We add 2 thanks to this card. And that means with the blizzard, during each morning phase, after resolving the event, move the blizzard token on the blizzard track to the space representing the number of cold tokens added to that event. Ending event, even if there are no more cold tokens available. If a permanent, all right, so maximum blizzard level is 8, minimum blizzard level is 3. Additionally, during the day, before any residence or night raids cards are drawn. Oh, beyond all that other stuff. Boom. We have a sealed envelope, which we might be opening. It's possible we might open this. That's interesting because it's basically like it's kind of like an achievement. That's what's kind of neat about these scenarios from Tales from a Ruined City. Each scenario comes with a specific sealed envelope that you are not to open unless you actually succeed with that scenario. Once we do open it, there's supposed to be sort of gameplay components in there that you get to permanently add to your game. So I'm going to assume these are like cards and or tokens that might be useful, perhaps. I guess it's a reward of some kind. This is this war mine though. It wouldn't be weird if like the rewards that you get for completing the scenario are actually like bad things that could happen that are now just themed to the scenario you just won. Anyway, so I think, I mean, it starts at 3. We relatively peaceful says we add 4, and then harsh winter is +2. I think that means it goes to 6. So blizzard token is at 6. I wonder how it gets to 8 though. I don't know. But relatively peaceful does mean we place this card on the Night Raids deck. If there is at least one board up token in the shelter, skip this Night Raid phase. Okay. So that is the event. And now we get the day. Okay, so we have 3 characters who can each do 3 things. I was kind of thinking we would start. One person could saw at the bars. One person could search the heap. And we're probably going to have like a dedicated digger to get through our rubble here. That will be the first phase. All right, so let's see. I guess Marco is going to go down here to the bars, and he's going to saw at them. So there's the saw blade down there. Bruno is going to start digging with the shovel. And then Pavel is going to go up to the first heap and reveal what we get from that. And we do get 1 weapon part, some sugar, let's see, 5 components and 2 wood. Okay, so since this is the end of the first phase, we might as well just put that stuff away. So that's 15 components we have now, and here's 2 additional wood. Okay, then we put the sugar in here and a weapon part. So that's cool. All right, we get all that stuff. And now this gets removed from the game. Okay. All right. Also, we have sawed through these bars. We should be getting a little something for that as well. We do get 1 mechanical part and 3 additional components. So now we've got 2 mechanical parts in the storage. All right, that's cool. And Bruno made a bit of progress on this pile of rubble. Okay. So let's see. 2 more phases to go. We are at some point going to want someone to go outside. Well, we can go outside to trade for bandages. We can do that. We don't exactly need to, though. We do get to skip the night raid phase for sure if we have at least one board up. So I think we want to make sure that we build that workshop. And that's kind of why I made sure to start with a mechanical part as well, to make certain that no matter what, I can build that workshop from the get-go. So somebody should do that. Bruno should keep digging. And I think somebody else should probably start a fire. So, let's see here. You could put the workshop either here or down here. I think it might as well be up here. So I think what would make the most sense is, let's see, Marco's going to go upstairs and start a fire. So we're going to need 1 wood to do that. That will reduce the, it will allow us to get rid of 1 coal token. Now we're also going to take the workshop and place that below Pavel. So the workshop now exists, but we have to get rid of, let's see, 5 components, 1 mechanical part, and 3 wood. So we get rid of 5 here, and I get 2 wood back. And now the workshop exists. Cool. Okay, that means we have a grand total of 8 wood left. Because we're also getting rid of this wood and removing 1 cold, 1 token from the cold space. And we also get rid of this rubble here. This rubble is now gone. Because Bruno got rid of that. Okay, so we now have 3 characters with 3 actions left. I'm thinking Pavel is definitely going to want to do a board up. That is going to happen. That means we would have 4 wood left. So let's just put this up here and say Pavel does a board up with the workshop. Okay. So that happens. And yeah, I really think maybe the other 2, we have 3 cards revealed now that we could search. Since it's almost dusk and we don't have any food or water, the other 2 people might want to do this, some searching. So let's say it's the furniture. Bruno searches the furniture that he just revealed, and Marco goes back downstairs to search that furniture. It even kind of makes sense because Marco saw through the bars, and Bruno dug through all that rubble, and there's that furniture. So they want to see what's in there. So Bruno is going to reveal what's in this furniture. And then Marco is going to reveal what's in this furniture. So what's in this one? Okay, we did find some food. We found some raw food. which honestly we probably aren't even going to eat because everybody's at hunger 0. We also found 2 mechanical parts and 2 electrical parts. Nice. We have plenty of parts to build things right off the bat. Probably build ourselves a deadfall trap pretty easily next turn. Two electrical parts, 2 mechanical parts. Where's the other mechanical parts? There it is. Okay, so we have 3 mechanical parts and 1 weapon part. We definitely want to get a metal workbench going here. Because it would be great if we could build a hatchet, because we do have Marco, and he can just chop through closed doors with a hatchet. He's also our best fighter, so he's probably going to be on guard duty like all the time. Oh, we do get 1 additional wood on top of all that other stuff, so now we have 5 wood. So that's cool. Now we get rid of that from the game. And what did Bruno find in this other furniture here? We found another raw food, so we don't have enough water. That kind of sucks. Let's see here. We do have 2 raw food, though. We also have sugar and another mechanical part. We have plenty of mechanical parts now. Which means I am very tempted to just burn some of these parts because that's what our objective is. Before we lose some of them. I mean, we aren't going to lose them because there isn't going to be a night raid, so nobody's going to steal anything. We do get to place 1 board up, thanks to Pavel. So no night raid is going to happen, and reduce the cold at least a little bit. Did we get 1 additional? Yeah, we get 1 additional wood. So we now have 6 wood. Okay. That is what we got. Well, everybody's misery is already at 2, meaning we really, really want to build that chair. Let's see. Misery is potentially going to be going up because we don't have enough water for everybody. Someone is going to have to not drink. And that someone might be Bruno? Yeah, it's going to be Bruno. We're just... Sorry, Bruno. So we're going to get rid of 2 water, because this is the dusk phase now. We're going to move everybody back here for the dusk phase. The day phase is now over. We got to get rid of 2 water, and we're going to have to roll for Bruno. Low roll, his hunger goes up. High roll, his misery goes up. Low roll, so his hunger goes up, which is fine with me. Because that means his misery doesn't go up, was kind of worried somebody's misery was going to go up and we'd have to deal with someone with misery 3 already at the very start of the game. So water is out of the way now. And I'm kind of thinking maybe we'll allow Bruno to eat one of the raw foods, because that will get rid of his hunger. But the other guys will not eat, and their hunger will each go up by 1. And this means potentially, maybe, if we're lucky, in the next day phase, we still have 3 people that can do 3 things. That would be nice. But that is the end of the dusk phase. So, and since we haven't had any difficult conversations yet, we have not raised the suspicion for anyone yet. Gonna have to get on that tomorrow after we build a chair. Let's see. There's not going to be a night raid either. Let's see. With fatigue. Okay, yeah. With fatigue 1. Okay. Here's what we'll do. Bruno's going to sleep. That way his fatigue does not go up, and he still gets to do 3 things tomorrow. Because he's our digger. We want him digging. And we could have Marco scavenge and Pavel guards. So Pavel, for the hell of it, has the knife. If Marco goes out scavenging, we probably want to keep in mind we kind of sort of really need bandages. We have a saw blade that we can trade. That's 5. We could trade our lockpick too. Could also bring the sugar just in case there's a trade commission. Yeah, I think we're doing that. He'll bring the lockpick. As long as we get the metal workbench going, we can just make more lockpicks. Yeah, you can make a lockpick for 1 component and 1 mechanical part. We have 4 of those. And tons of components. So tomorrow we almost certainly want to build a chair and a metal workshop and probably a deadfall trap as well. We're going to want Marco to bring some water back with him, as well as those bandages and maybe even some extra wood if he can carry it. Oh, he's taking the sugar as well. He's taking the sugar as well. We do not need that sugar. It has a value of 3. Take that. I want to keep all of these parts, though. There is also rubble in Old Town. Should I have him take the shovel? Just in case we draw a rubble card. That way he can dig through it and potentially get more stuff. That would reduce how many things he can bring back with him. Yeah, screw it. He has an inventory of 5. He's bringing the shovel as well. Okay, so that was the evening. The only thing we need to do now is add 1 fatigue to both Pavel and Marco, because they are staying up for the night, but Bruno is not. Oh, we probably want a bed tomorrow as well. There's a lot of things we need to build. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go to Old Town. We're going to put Marco on Old Town. And we're going to begin scavenging. We get 12 cards. Oh, wait. The Blizzard says it isn't just like Blizzard. Additionally, during this day, before any Residence or Night Raids cards are drawn, all the this day, during the scavenging phase, add to the unknown space a number of exploration cards equal to the Blizzard level. Okay. So if it says we get 12, we actually get 12 plus 6, which is 18. We get to start with 18 exploration cards. That's one. I mean, Marco is going to have some time on his hands to potentially find some things. Hold on a second. Let's see. We would need... For a deadfall trap, we need 2 mechanical parts. We don't need... we don't need anything for... Yeah, we would need 1 for a rainwater collector. Crude stove would also be nice. Oh, we gotta build that chair first, if nothing else, though. We gotta build that chair. Oh, I'm just trying to calculate how many parts are we gonna... We're gonna need at least 3 mechanical parts if we want to build a deadfall trap and a rainwater collector. We can't build too many things tomorrow, though. Let's say definitely a chair. And a metal workbench. Definitely that. Yeah. Which would not require any mechanical parts. We could ditch, before anything else, we could ditch 2 mechanical parts and 2 electrical parts right off the bat and be almost done with our objective. That would be pretty cool. And since Marco is going out scavenging and he has plenty of time, we can assume he's going to find, like, at least 1 mechanical part out there, I would think. I don't think there's even any mechanical parts left in the box. There's, like, electrical parts. Yeah, there's, like, 2 electrical parts, but no mechanical parts. All right, so let's do this. We're gonna ditch 2 mechanical parts, put those back in the box, and then up the objective by 2. And we'll hang on to those electrical parts. For now, at least, anyway. Okay, and let's begin scavenging. We want 18 cards for the unknown deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cards for the unknown deck. Let us begin. And first off, we do get rubble. We do get it, so it's a good thing we took our shovel. We can dig through with our shovel. We return 1 exploration card and raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. So we put 1 there, raise it by 1, and roll the die of fate. On anything on a 3 or more, we are good. And we get a 9, so we are good. Marco does not attract any attention by digging through that giant pile of rubble. After digging through, we can add 5 more cards to the exploration deck. The unknown deck, I should say, from the exploration deck. Draw and resolve 2 findings cards. Heap chart. Oh, we just get to draw and resolve them right now, then discard this rubble card. All right. So first findings card. Heap chart. Yep, knew it. We got a mechanical part right off the bat. And we get another weapon part, which we probably almost certainly want to bring back with us. So we can, because we already have 1, we could make a hatchet tomorrow. That would be nice. And we also get a shell, which is also kind of nice, but I also don't care. You can't do anything with shells until you actually have like a gunsmith workbench, and we don't even have a metal workbench yet. So let's roll for special findings. We get a 1, so that is nothing. Yep. Next findings card. Great. I drew the president's card. That's weird. Why is there Night Raid cards on the findings deck? That's weird. How did those get there? All right. Electrical part, chems, and a cigarette. Nice. Chems for when we make that deadfall trap tomorrow. And we also get one more cigarette for Bruno. Special findings is a 6. And that is even more chems. We have 2 chems. Nice. I like it. We'll add all that stuff to the findings pile here. Okay, so we are definitely going to want to be taking the shovel and the weapon part back. May have to ditch that mechanical part, although it's really tempting to bring that back. That would mean Marco could only take back 2 water. Ugh. Anyway, so that was the 2 findings cards. That way, shuffle back into the findings deck, and then we discard this rebel. What is the next exploration card? It says bars. This location doesn't have that, so we draw another card from the exploration deck. It is stairs down, so we look for another way, or we enter by raising the noise by 3. And okay, we're gonna do the safe thing. We have so many cards here. We're just gonna return 3 cards. Marco is going to look for another way. Next card. We now get okay, we're going to do this too. We get a hiding spot if we return 2 cards. We get to put this hiding place on the exploration slot, and we get to use that to ignore a residence card, which might get ignored anyway, thanks to the blizzard, potentially. So, next card. Open space. All right, there is an open space in Old Town, and I think what this says is we have an option to either move carefully or run through. So we can either return 2 exploration cards and raise the noise by 2, or raise it by 3 and then roll. Those are our options. Then we have to get rid of the open space card. How many cards do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 13 cards left. How does this work again? For residents. During this day, before any residence or night raids cards are drawn, roll the black die first. If the result is equal to or lower than the blizzard level, do not. Okay, so it's 6. Well, that's on a 6 or less. You just ignore a resident. We get to do that anyway, guaranteed, thanks to our hiding place. So why the hell not? We'll be rescue. We'll run through, raise the noise by 3, and roll for the noise. So that means noise goes up to 5. And we are rolling for noise. It is a 2. All right. So I think the way this works is, first of all, before we draw a resident card, we also get to do a blizzard roll. So if it's 6 or less, and it is 6, we just don't draw a resident card anyway, meaning we don't have to use our hiding place to avoid that resident encounter. Thank you, Blizzard. That's pretty cool. Okay, so well, these streets sure are empty, aren't they? Next exploration card says, search the furniture. Okay. Oh, right. I think noise goes down to 1 because we technically did fail that to trigger something. It does go back down to 1, but we didn't draw a resident card. But we do also now either return 2 exploration cards or raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. To search the furniture without having to return exploration cards. And we get a 1. Wow. Okay. Blizzard roll? It's a 9. Oof. That means we have to give up our hiding spot or draw a residence card. Does Marco run back to his hiding place? Yes, he does. And now we get to search the furniture. Draw and resolve 1 findings card. Furniture. So we do get herbal meds, jewelry, a filter, and another weapon part. Okay. It's tempting to take this filter back, but we can always just make one at the workshop. We get another weapon part. Herbal meds. Let's see. Ooh, and we get jewelry. Nice. Thanks to this jewelry, we just get bandages when we trade. Provided, of course, this location allows for such a thing. I don't know what's for trade in Old Town. I'm going to really hope we can get yellow tokens and that bandages are included there. All right, so, and we need 6 exploration cards to trade. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have 12 cards left. Let's draw the next one. It says basement entrance. We don't have that here, so we discard this and draw the top one here. It says we can get another hiding spot if we put 2 cards away, and we're going to do that. To get another hiding place. We get another hiding place. We now have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 9 cards left. So I think at this point we are going to return 6 so that we can initiate a trade. Because I have no idea what the next one is going to be. We really want to make sure we get this trade in so that we can bring at least some bandages back for Luka by the end of the day. It'd be nice to bring back enough water for everybody as well. We do have 1 raw food. We only have 2 people at hunger 1. So we're kind of okay on food for now. Yeah, let's make sure this trade can happen. Because I have no idea what the next card is going to be. It could be any gosh darn thing. We give up 6 now. We will have 3 left. It's tempting to go a little bit more and see if we can get some more stuff, but we know we have way more than enough now to get bandages and some other stuff. So let's see what we can trade for. Okay, we put these away, and it says return 6 exploration cards to trade C55. So let's go to the Book of Scripts, number 55, to see what that says. You'll have I really need to get in the habit of checking this. Checking the camera more often to make sure you guys have a good view. Anyway, 55. Oh gosh, trade commission is 4. We can buy any tokens. Okay, 55. Despite the crowds, this does not look like any marketplace that existed before the war. Faded people resembling skeletons try to barter junk and scrap. We joined them. You may buy any tokens here. So the trade commission is 4. So that means we're going to have to give up tokens worth 4 before we can even start trading for any gosh darn thing. So we could give up sugar and a cigarette, and that would be exactly 4. Yeah, why the heck not? We'll do that. Give up sugar and a cigarette. That's our trade commission. Toss that. Wait, no, let's keep the cigarette. Keep the cigarette. I just realized we have a shell here, which is kind of useless. We'll give that up. Keep the cigarette. That could be useful. Okay. So we can buy any tokens here. What does it say? Trade sheet. Right. I just explain. All right. So we need bandages. We do have jewelry. We can start by giving up the jewelry to make sure we can return with some bandages for Luka. Okay. We are going to want to return with some chems. I'd love to take back the shovel and 1 weapon part. It might be fine to trade everything else. Or, since we have a mechanical part and an electrical part on us, we could also consider just ditching those and getting up to 4 for our objective. Want to keep the cigarette too. We do have herbal meds. That's something. We might want to keep those. Okay, with the saw blade and the lockpick, that's 10. Filter herbal meds is 18. Weapon part, that is 20. If we trade everything here, that's 25. So we could get another raw food, which sounds nice, but we wouldn't be able to... We would not be able to bring back 3 water. We could get... Ooh, you know what? A guitar would be really nice. So a full guitar weighs 2, and it's worth 10, but we could bring back a broken guitar. It only weighs 1, and it's worth 3. And thanks to the fact that we have the workbench now, we can repair the broken guitar with just 2 components and 1 wood. That's pretty clutch. Means we could probably have someone just on the workshop tomorrow repairing this broken guitar and doing another board up. That'd be pretty cool. I'm considering guitar because Pavel has a Spirit C condition where if there's a guitar in the storage, we can lower one character's chosen misery by 1. That might come in clutch because misery is going to be a factor here. We want to be able to reduce misery several ways if possible, in addition to building that chair. We might also want to consider getting some books. So if we have 25, and that's 3, we could get like 3 books, and that would just be 5, and then we'd have 20 left. 3 books plus a chair means like you are guaranteed to bring somebody's misery down by 1. So that's cool. Provided they have an action to sit in the chair at least anyway. And we get to hang on to all these books. So that's 5. It might be good to take some meds back with us. It might be good to do that. That would be 10. And then we would have 10 points left. Because there's a good chance somebody is going to get sick with all this cold here. We probably want to take some meds back. Okay, yeah, we already purchased 1 roll of bandages. Thanks to that jewelry, we have 10 points left, which we could just purchase another roll of bandages. We could. You could also get an additional shovel. We're not doing that. I'm not doing that. Because we already have a shovel, and we already want to bring an additional weapon part back and this broken guitar. So if we bring all that back with Marco, he can only carry back 2 water, which means, once again, if we don't find any water in the day phase tomorrow, somebody is going to be going thirsty once again. So hopefully we can find water in that heap that's exposed over there. Anyway, 10 points. It's tempting to just bring back ammo, I guess. It'll just be 3 a pop. Could also... No, I'm not bringing back a broken pistol. That's tempting as well. That's tempting as well. But that would be 1 more weight. We don't need coffee. We don't need booze. Or vegetables. Yeah, screw it. Let's get another roll of bandages. So bandages, meds, 3 books, and a broken guitar. That's 25. So we'd be giving up everything else on that pile. That includes the lockpick, the saw blade, herbal meds, filter, weapon part, blah, 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 blah. All that stuff goes away. All right, we're ditching all of this. Filter goes in there. Elements goes back there. Weapon part there. Okay. All right. But we do get to bring back 2 rolls of bandages and some meds, a couple of chems, a broken guitar, and 3 books. Okay. And there's still 3 cards left. What are these 3 cards going to bring us? You may ignore this card or hideout. Nope. I'm ignoring this card. Next says search the heap. Okay, so raise the noise by 1 and roll for the noise. Okay, 7. Cool. Great. It says book and 2 mechanical parts. So I think what we're going to do we already have all the books. We can get 2 mechanical parts. And we also roll for special findings, which is going to be what? It says 10, so we get a free vegetable. All right. That is something we can bring back home so that somebody's hunger does not go up. That's pretty cool. We're also going to take these 2 mechanical parts and toss them out so that we can bring the objective up to 4. Because why the heck not? We're not bringing them back with us, so might as well toss them out for the objective. And now the objective is almost complete. That's pretty cool. We get to toss this and put this findings card back. And then we draw the final card and see what it says. It's reality impact. Okay, so a random thing is going to happen. Let's see. Colors deck. What does the color deck say? Oh, great. It says black. Oh, no. Draw a card from the exploration deck. So that says 565. Oh, what's about to happen to Marco? We're almost out of here with a whole bunch of good stuff. Now we gotta go to 565, and it's Black Merciless Fate. Blind Merciless Fate. 565. How bad is this gonna be? In front of us, on the pavement, a pigeon is moving as if on an ice rink. It looks like it's being drawn indoors by a magnet. It then disappears through the open door of a tenement. After a few seconds, a piece of bread comes flying out of the same door. But the bread looks to be attached to something. More pigeons congregate shyly around this potential meal. Interested, we take a few steps and look inside. There, we see an old man who is looking intently at the thread that's been tied to the piece of bread. Seeing us, he gesticulates at us, warning us against stepping on his fishing line. Are they biting? We ask, with lowered voices, so as to avoid scaring the birds away. Yep, the man replies, keeping his eyes on a pigeon that's getting close to the bait. Do you need a license at this time of year? We ask with an obvious grin. We want him to have no doubts that we're joking. Yep, for the fish and for the rod, he replies ironically. I was about to say, wait, that's it? But now it says C1802. So something else is going to occur here. It's not just a whimsical encounter with an old man who's fishing for pigeons. 1802. What else is there? 1802. What sort of choice is it going to make us? All right, 1802. An indecisive pigeon has been eyeing the piece of bread for several minutes, but suddenly another one acts. It dives on the bread and swallows it whole, but milliseconds later something pulls at his insides. The bird makes a piercing shriek and tries to fly off, but it can't. The man in the doorway winds his spool of thread and pulls the pigeon close towards him. When it's close enough, he grabs it, instantly wrings its neck, and puts the bird in his backpack. He gathers his stuff, gets up, and starts to leave. That's it for today, we ask? Yep, I caught 3 of them. 1 for each person in my family. There are no more cats, dogs, or rats in the city to eat. Oh, that's awesome. Only the pigeons are left. I take what I need and no more. If I'm not too greedy, maybe they'll come back tomorrow. And now we have a choice to make. If we have something to trade, we can ask the man to catch us a few pigeons. It says return 2 exploration cards, which we don't have. We can't do that. And then also discard tokens of a combined value of 5 from the findings pile. Well, all that to find out it is just an old man fishing for pigeons, and it's possible we could have spent a bit of time and given him something to maybe get a bit of extra food. That might have been some more raw food that we could have taken back with us. But we are fresh out of time. So we have to just leave him and say, all right, yeah, that's cool. See you later, old man. Anyway, that was the reality impact. That was not as scary as I thought it was going to be. It is not what I would describe as blind, merciless fate, I guess. Maybe for the pigeons, I suppose, but nothing awful happened to us. I don't know. I guess since the last time I drew black for Blind Merciless Fate, my characters got caught in a fire, and one of them got 3 wounds. So it was really bad. Anyway, so we kind of lucked out this time. We kind of lucked out. We got everything we needed and then some, I suppose. So lots of Marco is coming back with lots of good stuff. We do get to ignore the night raid. Just guaranteed, thanks to Relatively Peaceful. Even if we didn't have that, we would still get to do the Blizzard roll. So on a 6 or less, the night raid just wouldn't happen. So there is that. We're shuffling the exploration deck. And Marco and all of his findings come back to the shelter. We get all these books. Broken guitar. We get a weapon part. We get our shovel back. Bandages, meds, vegetable, chems, and an extra cigarette. Cool. All right, and Marco comes back. And we put that knife away. That is the end of the scavenging phase. Okay. So let's look at this card. Trying to figure out how the bandages works for Luka. Bandages for Wounded Luka. At any time, you may place bandages from the storage on Wounded Luka. At any time. There cannot be more than 1 bandages on the Wounded Luka card at any time. Please notice, the minimal wound level for Luka is heavily wounded. Luka will never be more than healthy than heavily wounded. He is still balancing on the verge of life and death. Okay. And for the dawn phase, it basically says if the condition token is at the heavily wounded level, roll the black die. Result of 8 to 10, see Blood in the Snow script 2, whatever the heck that means. Then also, if Wounded Luka was given bandages, move the condition token up by 1, and we can't because it's currently at heavily wounded. If Wounded Luka was not given bandages, move the condition token down by 1. Also make a roll on the suspicions chart. Okay, so it looks like we get a guaranteed roll on the suspicions chart no matter what. We get to do that at least once per day at the end of the day. So if the condition token is at the heavily wounded level, all right, let's roll the black die. On a 8 to 10, we go to this particular script. And we get a 6, so no, we don't look at that script. We can decide to give him bandages or not. I'm thinking not, because his condition can't go up. So if we don't give him bandages, it's going to go down to critical condition, but we do have 2 rolls of bandages. So we could just give him bandages tomorrow. So it's going to go down to critical condition. We're saving those bandages up, I guess. And we are now going to also get to make a roll on the suspicion chart. And then we draw the fate card like normal. Although now I'm starting to wonder if we draw a fate card and it says all unwounded characters, all wounded characters that don't have bandages. I don't even know if that applies to Luka. Well, it says we can give him bandages at any time. So how about I just put bandages on him right now? We will put bandages on him right now. All right, and then we're also going to roll for the suspicions. It says 9, so we get to choose who we raise the suspicion for. Let's say it's the neighbors. The neighbors go up to 1. Yeah, there is no most likely. It's 1, 2, character A, 3, 4, character B, 5, 6, character C, 7, 8, neighbors. So there's an equal chance it's going to be one of 4 things, or you get to choose one of those things. We'll raise the neighbor's suspicion, and now we get to draw the actual fate card. Raise the wounds of all wounded, unbandaged characters by 1. Heal the wounds of all characters who had bandages by 1. Discard bandages tokens from all characters. I'm still not sure if this applies to Luka or just the characters. Now it says at any time you may place bandages from the storage on wounded Luka. There cannot be more than 1 bandage. The minimal wound level for Luka is heavily wounded. All right, we'll get rid of the bandages and say it goes up to heavily wounded. Goodbye, bandages. We still have 1 other roll to put on Luka again. Anyway, beyond that, if cold tokens minus board ups equals 3 or more, it does. What do we have? 4? How is there only 4? Oh, I'm confused now. Because I know we started with 4, and then we added 2, and we only got to do, like, 1. We only started 1 fire. As I recall. How am I missing 1 cold token from the bag here? Great. Where did that other cold token go? Alright, it's 5. It doesn't matter. It says 3 or more. So we did start a fire, and we also did a board up, which brings it down to 4, but it says 3 or more. So raise the illness of 3 chosen characters by 1. So all characters' illness goes up by 1. That's awesome. Everybody gets 1 illness. It's possible Marco's illness goes away almost immediately. That is a thing that he has. It's a good thing we did get those meds. I guess we're going to have to get more now, though. I want to do another board up and start another fire. That is for sure. Next. Exchange the nearest location. That is the Shelled School. So Shelled School goes away. We get the Ruined Via. No weight tokens and Spirit B on all characters. So yes, Marco's illness goes away immediately because BC for him is lower his illness by 1. Marco is kind of a tank. For Pavel, if Pavel is wounded, raises misery by 1. Nope. Bruno, if Bruno is hungry, level 2 or 3, raises misery by 1. Nope. Okay. So we do have 2 characters that got ill. That kind of sucks, because that means we don't have any characters that will have 3 actions for tomorrow. Oh, well. So, yeah. Put that one away, and then the final thing to do is 2 narrative action cards. Which one do we choose? We get Got It and Rumors. Rumors will allow us to take a look at the top card from any 2 of the following decks. Events, Visitors, Residents, Night Raids. Ooh. Let's see, we already have a knife, and we are probably going to be building a hatchet today. I think we're going to take rumors and probably look at the top visitors and events card. Since this is the end of the day now, and we are basically in the morning phase, it would be a bit silly to play the rumors card now. We should probably play it after the morning phase so that we can reveal the event for tomorrow. So we can sort of plan ahead for whatever the hell that is. So let's reveal the next event now and see what it is. It is shelling. That sucks. That means we once again have max cold. I need to figure out what the hell happened to this other cold token. How is it not in the little baggie? Oh, it says if more than one character, which is not true. It was only Marco that went scavenging. Your shelter becomes the target of a shelling. It does not. Thank goodness we only sent Marco out. Because otherwise we would be getting 2 wounds between the present characters, and we would have to destroy one already built fitting card. That would mean we would have to get rid of either the workshop or the simple heater, and we don't want to get rid of either of those. But we do have max cold once again. It adds 1 cold to the cold space. I just don't know where the gosh darn cold token is. That is annoying. How do I... You'd think I would check for this stuff before I start recording, right? You would think I would do that. Oops. That's where my missing cold token was. It was just on the space. There were that many cold tokens. Okay, so we don't need to go looking for something that's already there. Hooray! I was looking for no reason at all. Isn't that awesome? Let's keep going. So, yes, we have max cold again. Now here's another question. For the blizzard. So when does the blizzard go back down? During each morning phase, after resolving the event, move the blizzard token on the blizzard track to the space representing the number of cold tokens added by that event. So if it was at 6 yesterday, do we just put it up to 8 now? Or does it always just go back to... Oh gosh, I'm confused all over again. During each morning phase, after resolving the event / ending event card, move the Blizzard token on the Blizzard track to the space representing the number of cold tokens added by that event, which was 1, even if there are no more cold tokens available. If a permanent event such as Harsh Winter or any blank tokens adds to this number, you should appropriately adjust the Blizzard level. Maximum Blizzard level is 8. The minimum Blizzard level is 3. But when does the Blizzard level... when does it ever go down? I mean, it says it starts at 3. Okay, here's what we will assume. It does not say this for some reason, but I am going to assume this, though. At the beginning of the day, we put it back to 3, and then according to this, you move it to the space that represents the amount of cold tokens added by the new event, which Schelling said 1, and since Harsh Winter is still there, we would add 2, so that's 6. I think that actually means that the Blizzard level should have been higher last time. Because I think Relatively Peaceful was like 4. That should have brought it all the way up to 7. It's like 3 plus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it would have, yeah, it should have gone all the way up to 8. But today it goes 1, 6. That's how that works. I got confused there for a little while. All right. Neighbor's suspicion is at 1. Everybody else's suspicion is at 0. We are almost at 2 hours already. And it's 8 o'clock. We're going to keep going and try and finish at least one more day, though. Oh my gosh, it took me 2 hours to finish one day in this goofy scenario. It's because I was trying to figure out some of these additional rules and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so, but we are now at morning phase. We figured all that other stuff out. We probably want to put. Do we want to put those bandages on Luka? We probably do. That means we will have no bandages for everybody else, though. We still have meds. We have 2 sick characters. We're gonna want to play the rumors here. Yeah, before we do anything else, we're playing rumors. That means we're going to reveal the day 3 event before the ending events. So that's going to be Crime Wave. Tomorrow we're going to have a Crime Wave, which means we'll have to draw 2 Night Raid cards rather than 1, and it's once again going to add 1 cold token to the cold space, which will bring the Blizzard level to 6 once again. Let's see here. We also reveal the top visitors card. It says Startling Revelation. So this is one of the special visitors cards for the scenario. A casual comment by one of our neighbors shed a completely different light on the whole story. Choose a suspicions track with the lowest suspicious level and raise the level by 2. All right. So that means if we now know if we send somebody outside, not only will we be able to potentially buy more bandages, that is something we could just do. We don't have an awful lot to trade for, though. We still need to ditch, we probably need to ditch one of these electrical parts to make sure we get that objective. Because if we don't complete that objective, we will lose the game. I think I'm just going to do that now. We're going to ditch 1 electrical part. So that's just gone. The objective is now up to 5. So the way that works, it says we get to resolve that objective pretty much at the end of the game. So that means we don't really get the reward until the game is over. So we're not going to get the 2 moonshine. But I guess what we really want to do is complete it so that we can actually beat the game. But also, we definitely don't want to get the penalty, which is a beating, and we have to distribute 2 wounds among our characters. Don't have to worry about that at all now. The only other things we need to worry about is 1 person must survive, and it would be nice if Luka also survived, and we also want to discover who the hell did it. So we now know if we send somebody outside, we're going to get to move something up by 2. It says the one with the lowest suspicion level, which is really just any one of our characters. Because the neighbors are at 1, everybody else is at 0. I'm going to take that to mean we get to choose who we want to. Should it be Bruno? Yes. Anyway, It is a new day. We have 3 characters that can all do 2 things. Let's see. I was thinking we definitely want somebody to go up to the workshop and do an additional board up. We definitely want to do that, especially since we know that crime wave is coming. It'd be really nice to repair that guitar, too. So one character could just go to the workshop and to do both of those things. Let's stick with the first phase here. So we know one character is going to go upstairs to the workshop. Might as well be Marco. Marco will go up to the workshop, and he's going to... Actually, no, screw that. It's going to be Pavel. Pavel goes up there, and let's see. Oof. If we want to do another board up, that will be 4, and we would only have 2 wood left. All right. We want Bruno to be digging. And we also definitely want to build that chair. We want that chair to be built. Maybe instead of digging today, Bruno could go outside and also search that heap. Marco could build the chair. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it like that. All right, so we put 4 wood and 1 component up here because Pavel is going to focus on that board up. And then we're going to have someone should search that heap and someone else should go outside. Let's say Marco goes outside and Bruno searches the heap. Okay, so Blizzard level is at 6, so on a 6 or less, we just don't need to roll for sniper fire. And it's a 9, so we do need to roll for sniper fire. And we get a 10, so we're good. Okay. We already know what the outside card is. It's Startling Revelation. And we know that means we increase the suspicion level of Bruno up by 2. So he now has the highest suspicion level. And we shuffle this back into the visitor's deck. Okay, so that was the thing that happened. Let's see. Then we're also going to reveal what Bruno found in the heap. We get 3 more components. Unfortunately, we don't get more wood. We get 1 more electrical part. So we have 2 mechanical parts, 1 electrical part. We also get 1 water. Right, I forgot. Marco brought back 2 water with him. So we now have 3 water. Because he brought back a shovel, 1 weapon part, and the broken guitar. Okay. All right. And we get an additional board up, thanks to Pavel. I have 2 board ups. I gotta ditch all this stuff. Okay. Now I have 3 people that can do 1 thing each. And I'm kind of thinking we might have 1 person build the chair, because that will reduce everybody's misery by 1 as soon as that chair is built. We could just build it right next to the workshop. We could say Bruno builds the chair, and then the other 2 go downstairs to poke about to get us some more wood. Because building that chair is going to use up the last of our wood, plus 1 component. Okay, so Bruno builds chair. We have to use the last of our wood and 1 component for that. Pavel goes down to poke about, so we get to roll for him. How much does he find? He gets a 2, so he only finds 1 wood. What about Marco? We get to roll for him. How much does he find? He gets a 3, so that's still only 1. We get precisely 2 wood for that. Oh gosh. That's not a lot of wood. That is not a lot of wood. All right, well, we have the chair now. We have lots of components, but not very much wood. Chair exists. We are out of actions. We get to reduce everybody's misery by 1. Still did not have any difficult conversations just yet. Okay, so we're going to put everybody back on the guard space. And try to decide... Okay, first we have to do dusk phase, though. That means all of our water is gone, so that we don't have to roll for anybody. Let's see. I think I want Marco to eat the raw food. That brings his hunger down to 0. Someone else gets to eat the vegetables so that their hunger doesn't go up. That might as well be Pavel. Pavel gets to eat the vegetable. And then Bruno's hunger goes up by 1. All right. Cool. So that was dusk. Now we get to decide what to do in the evening phase. I think Pavel is going to sleep this time so that we can get rid of his fatigue. We're going to have to increase Bruno's. He's going to be on guard. Or should we have Marco on guard? Marco is technically the better fighter. Unfortunately, we did not have a chance to build that that hatchet yet today. Or repair the guitar, really. Should we go out scavenging again? Do we need more things? I mean, if we have Marco go to sleep, his fatigue goes down to 0, and he can do 3 things tomorrow. If we keep Bruno on guard duty, he can defend the shelter with a knife, and it's entirely possible that the night raid doesn't happen anyway, because on a 6 or less, it just doesn't happen. If we have 2 characters, Marco can do 3 things tomorrow. That would be pretty cool. But we're risking a lot of stuff getting taken in the night raid and or Bruno getting messed up. Screw it. Marco goes to sleep as well. Bruno's on the guard space. We get rid of Marco's fatigue. It says so. During this day, before any resident or night raids cards are drawn, roll the black die first. Okay. So let's roll the black die first. On a 6 or less, we get to ignore the night raid. And we get a 3. So we just ignore the night raid anyway. We don't even have to draw the night raid card. That is cool. That means we go straight to the dawn phase. Okay. Do we want to put bandages on Luka right now? If we put bandages on him, sure, his condition doesn't go up, but it also doesn't go down. And I think we don't have to discard the bandages unless the Dawn card says we have to. So actually, it kind of makes sense to put bandages on Luka now. And we should also put meds. We can assign meds to either Bruno or Pavel. I think we should assign them to Pavel, because it's possible that his illness just goes away, and then we have 2 characters that can do 3 things tomorrow. That would be nice. Okay, so look at this Dawn Phase card again. If the condition token, right. We're going to roll the die again on an 8 to 10. We go to this particular script. We get a 10. So now we get to go to Snow Script, Blood in the Snow Script 2. So what the heck does that say? Wartime Diary. I was looking at the book of scripts. It's in the Wartime Diary. 2. Oh. So on an 8 to 10, if Luka is just heavily wounded, script 2 says Luka wakes up. We hear a faint whisper and moans of pain. These are coming from the improvised bed where our friend lies under a bloodied blanket. Has he regained consciousness? As we gather around, we can't make out what he's saying. Luka is semi-conscious. For a moment, though, he seems to recognize us. He grabs at the air around him, as if he wants to hold us. We can barely understand his words. A moment later, he's out of it again. Raise the suspicion level by 1 on one chosen suspicions track. Ho, 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 ho. That means we get to put Bruno up to 3. Oh, Bruno, you probably did it, didn't you? You probably did it. Yeah, Bruno is at 3 now. That's cool. So that happened. Let's see. Oh, wait. Okay. If wounded Luka was given bandages, move the condition token up by 1 and discard bandages from Luka. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take this to mean now that when we draw the fate card, it's referring to our characters that are wounded and blah, 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 blah. Because this is just straight up telling us when it comes to Luka, if he doesn't have bandages, the condition goes down by 1. If we did give him bandages, it goes up by 1 and we toss those bandages. So all right, we'll just toss the bandages and say it doesn't go down at all. He's still heavily wounded. Goodbye, bandages. We now have no bandages. All right. Now we got to draw the fate card. And get rid of this card as well. Fate card says... lower the illness of all... Hey! Yes. We get rid of illness for Pavel. That's cool. But if cold tokens minus board ups, we have 2, and we didn't do a fire, equals 4 or more. Ugh, we raised the illness of all characters by 1. Shit. Too bad I didn't start a fire. God damn it. It's at 6. All right, so we need to raise Bruno's illness up by 2, and the other 2 guys have 1 illness each. Oof. We're definitely gonna want to do that other board up today. Oh. That means Bruno can only do 1 thing, and Marco and Pavel are down to 2 actions. That is harsh. I thought I was going to have 2 people that can do 3 things each. Okay, well, that was the end of the dawn phase. Well, wait a minute. Was it? No, it wasn't. Did I do all the things? I don't think I did. Getting ahead of myself here. Exchange the nearest small location. That is the Ruined Via. The Ruined Via does go away. And we get the Derelict Squat in its place. Okay. No weight tokens and Spirit A on all characters. Marco, if any character in the group is hungry at level 3 or more, raise his misery by 1. Pavel, Spirit A, no effect. Bruno, Spirit A is a cigarette. We have 3 of those. We can just toss it so that his misery does not go up. Everybody's misery is still at 1. Okay. That means we are definitely doing a difficult conversation tomorrow. Somebody is going to do a difficult conversation tomorrow. That's probably going to be Bruno. We're going to have Bruno do that. Because he can only do one thing anyway. Yep. That's how this is going to work. Okay. Let's see here. And we already know what the event is going to be for today. We revealed that. So today's event is the crime wave. It will add 1 cold token to the cold space. We're already at max, and we've already figured out that this means we start at 3, we add 3 to that, so it's back to 6. Blizzard is at 6 for today. That's where it is. And it says, place this card on the Night Raids deck. We're going to have to do 2 Night Raids tonight. Potentially. And it's only at 6. We're only gonna avoid it on a 6 or less. Okay. So now we are at the dawn phase once again. So, each person can do one thing. We were thinking about having Bruno do a difficult conversation, raise the misery of one of the characters present by 1, and make 2 rolls on the suspicions chart. Okay, so we're going to do that right off the bat. We're going to say the one thing that Bruno does is he has difficult conversations that brings his misery back up to 2, and we get to make 2 rolls on the suspicions chart right now. So we get a 7, and 7 is raise the suspicion level by 1 for the neighbors. So the neighbors go up to suspicion level 2. And what is the next roll? It's 6. So that is 5 to 6 is character C. That's Bruno. Bruno is now at level 4. Okay, so what does this say? Find out who the murderer is. Any of 4 suspicions tokens must reach level 4. Okay, that's Bruno. At any time, you may tie up a suspect. Place the zip tie token on any of the characters at in the shelter for free. You may place the zip tie token on the chosen character even just before a roll on the suspicions chart is made. The character on which you have placed the zip tie token is tied up, thus cannot do anything. What I'm wondering is, I mean, character C is now at suspicion level 4. I wonder if that just means it is Bruno, and thus we must place the zip tie on him. I'm thinking it's possible somebody's suspicion might go down, because there are other special events in the visitor's deck that might make somebody's suspicion go down? Maybe? I don't know. Let's see here. So let's see. We don't have any water or food. That is not great. Um, we got 2 characters that can do 2 things each. That's not Bruno. Okay, at any time you may tie up a suspect. Place the zip tie token on any of the characters in the shelter for free. You may place the zip tie token on the chosen character even just before a roll on the suspicion chart is made. All right, we're just putting the zip ties on Bruno. Bruno can't do anything else for the rest of the day anyway. And since suspicion went all the way up to 4, he has now been zip tied. Okay, I kind of think what that means is we're going to want somebody else to go outside. We probably want to buy bandages, and someone else should. Oh wait, we can't. We can't make. I was gonna say. Oh, we should definitely make a hatchet. Well, we didn't build the metal workbench yet. We only did the workshop, and we only have 2 wood, so we can't build much of anything, even though we have a ton of components. And to get to any more goodies here, we'd have to dig through rubble. Yeah, because we traded away a lockpick, didn't we? Yeah. Someone's going to have to dig through this rubble. And then another person goes outside to trade for bandages and hope that maybe we get an arrival, because Bruno is now tied up and will be utterly useless. So I figure Marco might as well go down and dig. He's going to dig. And then Pavel is going to go outside. And that means before anything, we have to do a blizzard roll on a 6 or less. There's no sniper roll. And it's a 4, so snipers are gone for the day. There's no chance for Pavel to get shot. We can try and trade for bandages. 2 electrical parts is 6. And 2 weapon parts would be 10. But the trade commission is 2. Oof. So if we wanted to make sure that we get bandages by just going outside, you know what? I don't think we should do that. Because, in fact, Pavel just goes outside now, and we're going to hope an arrival shows up. If it doesn't, I mean, a thing is going to happen. Marco's going to dig again, and I would say Pavel should build something, but we only have 2 wood. He could just start a fire. We could also have him repair the guitar. That would at least mean we have a guitar, and maybe Pavel helps with somebody's misery. That's kind of why we got it. Anyway, let's draw this visitor's card and see what it says. What does the top visitor's card say? We do get a rival. We do get an arrival. They bring a pistol and an ammo, but they are wounded and are at hunger level 1. Okay, so we are taking this person in because we have an extra slot here. We would definitely like to have a pistol and an ammo that we don't have to trade for. We can just put that in the storage. And we're going to draw the top character card here and see, who is it? It's Anton. Okay. So it is Anton. Here's our extra character. We're going to give him 2 wounds and one hunger. Okay, something tells me Anton isn't going to stick around for very long. I think he has a condition where, okay, if there's at least 1 book in the storage, lower Anton's misery by 1 and raise his fatigue by 1. If Anton is hungry, level 2 or 3, raise his illness by 1. If Anton is wounded, raise his wounds by 1. So it's possible he just dies tonight from his wounds if we do not get him bandages as well. Oof. Anton is not going to be able to do anything. We may still have 1 day phase left, technically. But when you get a person, they don't get to actually do something until the next phase. Let's see here. Where the heck is Anton's model? Okay. So Anton brought us a gun and some ammo, and he has an extra pair of hands, but I don't know how much longer he's going to stick around, though. Because he's already wounded, and we really need to prioritize those bandages for Luka. And both Pavel and Marco only have 1 action each left. We're probably going to want Marco to dig through the rest of this rubble so we can expose this heap. And we were thinking about repairing the guitar, because we could do that for 2 components and 1 wood. That would mean we'd have precisely 1 wood left. Could also poke about to try and get more wood. Could also start a fire to remove 1 cold token. Yeah, harsh winter means you add 2 every single day, no matter what. Okay. Oh boy. What is the time at now? We're at 2:30. Okay. We want to try to finish this day, and then we're gonna try to finish this campaign. I guess this campaign will be in 2 episodes rather than just 1. 2 episodes rather than just 1. What should Pavel do with his final action? Might as well repair that guitar. So 2 components, 1 wood. Put them up here. We get rid of that. And we get to ditch the broken guitar. And we now have a repaired guitar in the storage. Okay. So that is the end of the day phase. We also get rid of this. That is gone. That exposes the heap. Okay. That's nice. But we have no water and no food. So that's kind of bad. We're going to have to do a roll for everybody for water, first of all. Let's see. Marco, high roll, so we increase his misery by 1. Pavel, low roll, so we increase his hunger by 1. Bruno, high roll, so we increase. Let me see. Low roll is hunger. High roll is misery. So Bruno's misery goes up to level 3. And since he's tied up, I think that means he can't do anything. He wouldn't be able to sit in the chair. The only way we can bring his misery down is if Pavel plays the guitar for him or something. Anyway, we also roll for Anton. Low roll, so his hunger goes up to 2. Okay. And since we have no food, that means we get hunger 1 for Marco and hunger 2 for Bruno and hunger level 3 for Pavel and Anton. So that is not great. That is not great at all. Oh. Okay, so that was the end of the dusk phase. Now in evening, we're going to decide who goes where. All right. So we know the crime wave is going to happen. Bruno cannot do anything. I mean, if you tie somebody up, can they go to sleep? What happens when you tie somebody up? Does that mean they can't sleep? No, no, no. Bruno sleeps on the floor. He may be tied up, but that doesn't mean he just isn't going to sleep. It would mean he can't be on the guard space or go scavenging, but he is going to sleep. At the very least. We get rid of his fatigue, but we're probably going to raise the fatigue of everybody else by at least one. I'm thinking Marco will probably want to go scavenging again. And we might want to keep Anton and Pavel on guard duty because we do have a pistol and a knife. So both of them can be armed. We will see what Marco can find. We want to try and maybe get some more bandages again. Perhaps. We could send him to the derelict squat. And you would add, if we add 6 from Blizzard to the derelict squat, he'd have 20 cards. All sorts of things could happen. Anyway, Marco here. These guys guard. Pistol for Pavel. Knife for Anton. And this time I don't think Marco is going to bring anything with him for trading. Where will we go? We can go to the construction site. Anywhere we go, we add 6. So even though the construction site is far away, we would still add 6. That would be 16. Could find meds in the derelict squad. A special findings chart. If you go to Old Town, you can socialize with people. Could try going to Old Town again. Yeah, we're going to go to Old Town again. Even though we're not bringing anything to trade. We're going to Old Town again, and we're going to try to socialize with people. I don't think I've ever really done that. I want to see what happens with that. Let's see. Need to take a headache pill real quick. Damn headache bothering the heck out of me. Okay. All right, let's try to wrap this up. What does this say? 240. My goodness. I think we've only done... Well, this is the third day, which means the next day will be one of 3 ending events, which could be the ceasefire. So, let's keep rolling. Because if it is the ceasefire, we just need to survive for one more day. We need to keep Luka alive for one more day. And as long as one person survives and one person is on the suspicion for, we win this scenario, don't we? So let's see if that happens. I don't know. Anyway, what I do know is we're at the Old Town, and we add 6 cards, so that would be 18. I don't know how that happened. They were not all facing the same way somehow. Let's shuffle again. $18 exploration cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay. We are definitely... Okay, before we do anything else, I'm going to put 4 water on the findings pile, because Marco is definitely taking water back for everybody. That is for sure. We're not going to forget to do that. That means there's only one weighted item that he can take back with him, and that is it. All right. First card. It says, tough luck, roll for the noise. Well, it's only at 1. 4, we're good. Toss that. Next says, search the heap. We're going to raise it by 1 and roll for the noise. 5, we're good. Findings. Oh, great. We get a broken guitar and a shell. Two completely useless things, because we already have a guitar and we don't have even a metal workbench just yet. What does special findings bring us, though? Nothing. Cool. So heap is gone. And we put the findings card back in the deck. And we draw the next exploration card. But before we do that, we could... I think we'll do... Okay, we're going to take 3... After searching a heap, Marco is going to go and socialize at the... Once he is at Old Town. I'm wondering if this is a possible way for him to bring his misery down. We shall see. He's going to go socialize with people. And that is entry number 689. Yeah, 689. Let us consult the book of scripts. What does that tell us? 689. The old town appears as one of the few islands of normality in this sea of madness, but the appearance from afar is a deception. Up close, you see people selling treasured heirlooms side by side with looters offloading their stolen goods. Some of it pure trash. Still, trade as it is reminds us the survivors of the pre-war days when the market square pulsed with trade in less illicit wares. Decide how you'll spend your time here. We'll listen to some gossip. C1046. Let's check if we can get something from the gifts for victims of war. C672. Let's look for medical help. Maybe there's a doctor somewhere here. C1218. We should hire some help to transport things to our shelter. C1502. Maybe someone's looking to hire some help. C1488. If you want to, return another 3 exploration cards and choose again. But you cannot choose the same option twice during one night. Okay. So we can make one of these choices, and if we want to, we can make another choice by returning 3 more exploration cards. If we say maybe someone's looking to hire some help, we get paid to do a thing? I mean, Marco has like literally nothing on him, and we don't have much back at the shelter. So that might be a good option. We probably wouldn't be able to hire somebody to help us transport things. Let's look for medical help. Maybe there's a doctor somewhere here. Marco is not currently wounded, but he is kind of sick though. Let's check if we can get something from the gifts for victims of war. That might be just free charity stuff. We'll listen to some gossip. Maybe gossip will like reveal a card from a deck, perhaps. I'm thinking maybe we should look. Maybe someone's looking to hire some help. We'll see what that is. And then after that, we'll return another 3 exploration cards and see if we can get something for the gifts for victims of war. Okay, so let's start with 1488. What does 1488 say? That's a bad number, isn't it? I'm pretty sure 1488 is like the Nazi number. I hate that I know that. I'm pretty sure it is 1488. It's fine. I doubt anybody's listening. Are you out there somewhere? Are you listening to me wonder about 1488 being the Nazi number and hating the fact that I know that that's probably the Nazi number? Because I think 1488 is like supposed to stand for like Heil Hitler or something. I don't know. Anyway, 1488. Where the hell is it? Okay. 1488. There's always work to be found here. Sometimes it's shifting rubble to clear a house or moving crates for foreign guests. We take any job we're strong enough to do. Add to the findings pile any tokens with a combined value of 3 for every character present. Oof. That means we get like one thing. Okay, 3. That's all we get. That's all we get. 3. All right. Well, what could that be, I wonder? What could that be? I have to put all these additional models away. Definitely not bandages. Hey, you know what? We could get some more ammo. 1 ammo token will be exactly 3. Let's do that. Boom. Add that to the findings pile. Cool. Marco scored a little ammo by doing an odd job. Okay. Let's go back to 689. So we can return 3 more cards. To the exploration deck. And do one more thing. One more socialization thing. Which is, let's check if we can get something from the Gifts for Victims of War. We go to 672. That's on the previous page. Once in a while, but only for a brief moment, the crowd of haggard figures livens up and voices rise. After a while, they form a queue or just gather into a group, hiding the source of the commotion. This attracts even more people. They hope food or medicine is being distributed here. Roll the black die. 5 or less, unfortunately nothing. 6 to 9, we get a vegetable. On a 10, we can score a canned food, a meds or bandages. Okay. Well, doesn't sound like we have very good odds to actually get anything good here. And we get a 5, so we get nothing. We get nothing. We don't even get like a vegetable. That's cool. So Marco got 1 ammo by working hard, and then he tried to get some charity and ended up getting nothing. All right. Well, that's the end of socializing. Let's go back to just plain old scavenging then. What does the next card say? You may ignore this card or hide out. Return as many exploration cards. Okay. I think, how many cards do we have left? Say 3, 6, 8. We could return. Nah, we're just going to ignore that. What's the next card? Once again, we got a heap. Okay. So let's raise the noise by 1 again. And roll for the noise again. And we get a 2. All right. So thanks to the Blizzard, we get to make a Blizzard roll first before we have to draw a Resonance card. And it is a 7. And Blizzard level is only at 6, so we do need to draw a Resonance card now, unfortunately. And that card says Village Folk. So you may perform a trade to exchange any tokens from the finding pile for any green tokens. Too bad we don't have all that much. Trade commission is 1. So, in theory, we could give up our shell, our broken guitar, and our ammo and get precisely one vegetable. Yeah, I don't want to do that. We're just going to say, no, because I don't want to give up my ammo. I don't want to give up my ammo. Or, what other... Because we could always get a moonshine. We could always, like, trade the broken guitar for a moonshine. Let's see, we don't need coffee. We don't really need more cigarettes. We already have 2. Yeah, we're just gonna tell them to go away. I guess we lucked out. Go away, village folk. Now we get to search the heap. All right, so findings, and it's a reality impact. Okay, so we don't get to search any heap. So draw a card from the colors deck. It says red, which means a drastic scene. Then check the number with that color on the rare findings chart of the current location card. Okay. Rare findings, you say? Is that 83? Is that the red one? Yeah, 83. Okay. All right. We're looking at 83. What does that tell us? What has Marco found? While sifting through junk, we spot a sign in red paint on one of the walls. I gave my life to your sister's kids, and you took the lives of my parents. You will rot in hell. Draw and resolve one card from the findings deck, furniture, and heap charts. Yo, okay. What does the next findings card say? Okay. We get a whole bunch of stuff we don't even need. It says moonshine. We would get 2 mechanical parts. We can't even get a book. There is an herb and another shell and another weapon part. And we would get to roll for special findings twice. All right. That is not what I expected from a drastic scene. While sifting through junk, we spot a sign in red paint on one of the walls. I gave my life to your sister's kids, and you took the lives of my parents. You will rot in hell. I guess that sign led us to some goodies somehow. Okay, so we even have this stuff in here. Mechanical parts. Are there mechanical parts in here? Yes, there is. So we get, I think, 2 of them. If there are 2 of them in here. Yes, there are. There's 2. And we get a weapon part. We can only bring one thing back. Let's see. We also get a shell and an herb. Shell and an herb. And we get to roll for special findings twice. First roll. We get a 7. So that is a moonshine. So we actually had 2 moonshines. I forgot there's a moonshine on there already. So now we put 2 moonshines on the findings pile. And let's see. I wonder if it's too late to trade. How many exploration cards do we have left? We have 8. So you might consider trading after this. Anyway, one more roll. What extra stuff do we get? Harold? Harold the kitty cat? Is he taking up the entire view? Yes, he is. Harry, your face is in the camera. That's an 8. Does that mean we get another moonshine? No. 7 is a moonshine. 8 to 10 is a vegetable. So we do get 1 vegetable. Okay. All right. So that is what we found. Let me put the rest of the stuff up here. This means everything we have total is 6, 7, 8. Eight, 9, 12 with the ammo, and an additional 9 with the 2 moonshines. 12 plus 9 is 21. So we could take all of that to trade and definitely get bandages and maybe some more vegetables? Maybe. Anyway, where does this reality impact go? Under the current location card. And we got to put the findings back in the findings deck. Let's see. Do we trade now or do we draw another card? Because we would need to put 6 cards to the side to trade, and we have no idea what's coming up next. It always goes back to 1 because we did trigger something. Let's draw another card. It's another reality impact. So we draw from the colors deck, and it says gray. Then draw a card from the exploration deck. It says 688. All right, we are consulting the Book of Scripts once again. What happens with 688? Hey, you! We froze in mid-step. We hear footsteps behind us and turn around. Barely an arm's length away, there are several soldiers, their faces painted with camo paint. One of the soldiers threw us something heavy, but we didn't catch it in time. The item landed on the ground with a dull thud. The other soldiers roar with laughter. Get those vests on. We'll do some target practice. Go on. You'll be fine. It's a new invention from the Americans. Ha ha ha. Get a move on, duckies. So we obediently don the vests. We try and plead with the soldiers. In survival mode, we try to run even though it's almost certain suicide. We either comply, beg for our lives, or we run. It seems to be suggesting that, like, running might be bad, even though it's almost certain suicide. I mean, it's always possible if we do what they say, then we just get something from this and they don't shoot us. Let's go to 227, see what happens. We don't even have to choose a character. It's Marco. So 227. It's always possible if I go to this, it's going to force me to take a roll, and like he might take a wound if it doesn't hit the vest or something. 227 says we slowly put on the heavy armored vests. We stand a few meters away from the soldier, who is now smiling and reloading his gun. We close our eyes. A moment of uncertainty, sweat rolls down our forehead, and our legs are like rubber. Boom! We receive a powerful hit to the chest. All the air is pushed out of our lungs, but then we can inhale again. The bullet didn't get through. Well, now we know that it works. Ha ha ha! Okay, let's try with something more powerful. We keep standing there, waiting for the next shot. We'll try and plead with the soldiers and start taking the vest off. We try to run, thinking our chances of escape are better wearing the vest. Okay. So our options are let them continue shooting. I don't know if I like that one. I don't know if I like the idea of saying, like, yeah, sure, shoot at me again, please. I don't like the idea of begging either. I kind of like the idea of running now that we have a bulletproof vest that they just gave us that we know works. So let's go to 1507 and see what it says. We still haven't taken a wound just yet. 1507. I don't think we owe these guys any favors. Let's just run off with their vest. Uh, 1507 says, hey, look at those cowards. They didn't even know how to have a bit of fun. Come back here with my vests. Surprisingly, no one shoots at us, and we can only hear some curses, which eventually turn into hoots of laughter. We get away, find a hiding place in the shade of some ruins, where we then try to gather our thoughts. The new possession is heavy and restricting, but we're starting to get used to it. C1157. Go back to 1157. Write down vest 1157 111 on a blank token and add it to the findings pile. Treat it as a red token with a value of 15 and a weight of 1. Vest. During every combat, choose one character to use it. Place the vest token on him. If we had the vest with us on the findings pile during scavenging or in the storage during combat in the shelter, the character using the vest suffers fewer wounds from every shot. Subtract as many wounds from every effect of a red combat die or black die for firearms as there are lines on the token. Furthermore, for every shot with a strength of 2 or greater, cross out one line from the vest token. When all 3 lines are crossed out, the vest becomes useless. Value 0. All right. Well, we get a vest. This is vest 1157, and then 3 hash marks. Red token with a value of 15. Okay. All right. So that happened. We now have, let's see, 7 cards left. So we're going to return 6 so that we can go trading. And we also have that vest now, which adds a further 15 value. So we had 21. We now actually have 36. So let's see. Ooh. Oh. Harry's just kind of sitting on my lap. This is making things a little awkward here. We go to 55 for the trade. $55. I'm sure that's just going to say the same thing we saw last time, which is you can trade for whatever in the the trade commission is 4. Despite the crowds, this is not like a blah, 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 blah. You may buy any tokens, trade commission is 4. All right, so if that's the case, and we basically have 36 with the addition of this vest, we actually have 32. I'm thinking that probably means we want to get we could get like meds, bandages, and maybe a hatchet. Because I think a hatchet is like 12. If we have 36 and the trade commission is 4, we could get meds, bandages, and a hatchet. if Marco has a hatchet, he can just hack through doors, and we would not need a lockpick at all. Plus, a hatchet would come in handy if we're defending the shelter. So that would be nice. Although we do have 3 people that are sick, and we're going to have to give those bandages to Luka. Okay, we're at 3 hours and 15 minutes. And as I said, Harry is very comfortable in my lap right now. And I really don't like moving him unless I have to. So I think I'm going to save the game right here, and then we're going to pick it up where we left off next time. So I guess we'll look at the last exploration card, which says, I think I saw something. So the last thing we're going to have to do, we're going to trade for that stuff, but we're also going to have to roll to see if we encounter, trigger another resident. Because it doesn't give us the option to just end the exploration with a card like this. We do get an 8, so we are good. All right. So that means it's just trade and then go. That's what that means. All right. Cool. And yeah, that means the scavenging phase is over, and when we return, we will have to do the night raid phase, and then the dawn phase, and then we will reveal the top ending event card. So this game might end with a win. It might. As long as we can keep Luka alive, and we did score some bandages here, and one person survives until the end. Although, now that I recall, let's look at 1,000 real quick. Because it says we need to have a success in order to unlock that stuff. It says in campaign mode, okay, if you fulfilled the final objective, the playthrough ends with a success. All right, so you get a success, period. It's just how much of a success. In campaign mode, only one starting character survived. You have succeeded but barely. 2, if 2 have survived, the success is full. Right, we're not in campaign mode though, so I think we have a success as long as we have fulfilled the objective. We did get to suspicion level 4 with Bruno, which is why we tied him up. As long as one of our starting characters is still alive by the end, and that may very well be Marco, we should just have him sit in the chair tomorrow. That is one thing we really should do. We can feed him the vegetables well. As long as Marco survives, I guess we're good. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna save this here. When we pick up next time, it'll be the night raid phase, and we will see if we get to succeed and unlock that envelope. So, see y'all in the next episode, which will hopefully not be 3 hours long. Take it easy, y'all.